Welcome, everyone, to the Royal House of We the People with Anna Marins and Mike Likens and our special guest, Mr. Scott Mckay. Scott Mckay, welcome to the Royal House of We the People. We're so honored to have you. I will tell you this, we were visiting before we started recording here. I was one of your first 200 followers on YouTube before they zapped you. So I just wanted to let you know the McCrank, my last name McCrank and the McKay, we kind of have the same type of firepower.
Yeah,
But I just don't have the big enough tomahawk you got. So welcome to the show.
we'll get you one. I'll bring one with me.
Welcome. Anna, would you like to say hi to Scott?
I want to say hi to everyone listening to us and to us all, especially to Scott Mckay, who is a dear friend. Who, when in Brazil, he will be under Marin's care here in the house, the Royal House of the Marins here in Brazil. So thank you, Scott, for being with us and for doing the work you have. And we are now bridging through the Royal House of We the People, not under my name anymore, because we are all equals, moving forward, shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah.
And yeah, so it's us. This is our time, and we the people, we are going to do that together in unity in Christ in us. So thank you for being with us, and thank you everyone.
Thanks.
Ann and I have been collaborating for a couple of years now, and I committed to making a trip to Brazil 2 times. I wasn't able to make it, mainly for security reasons, but and scheduling and whatever. But absolutely going to make it to Brazil, Anna. And by the way, probably be a good idea. We need to do a show on my channel, the three of us, so we can introduce your podcast to my audience. And also, you just gave me an idea, Anna, that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start trying to connect with podcasters in other countries, so we can start. You said it. We're all shoulder to shoulder, and it just idea hit me that I'm gonna work on putting this together. So get maybe a group of 4 every time, find podcasters in other countries, and start a unification operation of the movement. And I
Yes,
tried to do that.
exactly. Exactly. And it's because it's one America. So you guys go first and we are just behind you. But Brazil is the major player in South America. And it's a great people and great country, very good people and very good country. And willing to make this real. But of course, following President Trump's movements. And that's how we will go.
Yeah, I'd like to take 2 minutes. 2 minutes, okay? 2 minutes to give Scott just a thank you, and on a personal note, I became awake in 2020, right after the election happened, and was listening to terrestrial radio and listening to Scott all the time, right when he was at the peak of what he was doing. He got canceled from YouTube and all that stuff, and so my stepmom was just oblivious to a lot of this stuff. So I finally, I was trying to feeding it to her every once in a while, And in July of 2021, she came down with cancer, and she started listening to you, and that was part of our therapy, is that we would listen to Scott. And so we went through that whole summer, through COVID. I took care of her. I stayed at her house for close to 5 months, and took her to every doctor's appointment. And she was a patriot and a street fighter, and she embodied everything that you did back in the early days, Scott. I mean, this was back when, before the tour, before everything you did. And you were I had, my man crush, on you. It's like, man, I'd love to meet Scott Mckay. I'd just love to meet him. And so I came to a doctor's appointment. I'd pick her up for a doctor's appointment, and she shows up and she's wearing this. I still have it.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
And I cherish it. And because she passed away, I'm going to share the screen real quick because I've got a picture here. Um, this is her wearing the shirt. um, and there she is. That's her and I watching one of your episodes. This is back in 2022. And then this is her and I 2 days before she passed. She wore your shirt every day. So thank you. And I just wanted to tell you that. So thank you.
Thank you, brother. What a beautiful soul she is. Look at it in her eyes.
Yeah.
There's an angel right there.
Yep.
You know that, Mom, right?
Mm.
Keep
Well-
watch over your boy. I am too.
The fact
Don't
that,
forget your pops. Don't
Yeah.
forget your pops either, Scott.
yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So I just wanted to tell you that and wanted to thank you how it does go full circle. I never would have thought that I'd be doing a podcast with, Scott Mckay, and here you are with her. This is all the way back so long ago. So thank you.
Buddy, you just this is why I get out of bed every day and
Yeah.
do what I do every day of my life. And every day is hard for me once my feet hit the ground. Some days are better than others. And, every day is still a pretty tough struggle. And some days I think how much further can I go with this wreckage that I created for myself? And then this stuff here just fuels me again. And I'm like, this war is going to go until we get everything that we deserve. And thank you for telling me that, because these, honest to goodness, for me in my world, I've suffered literally for decades. When they were slaughtering 200,000 people in Rwanda with machetes, and Clinton and the UN stood by and did not a fucking thing. I don't know these people. I've never been there, but I remember laying in bed at night. My soul just ripped to shreds. I'm in tears. What is wrong with this world? What is wrong with this world? And so I've always had that. So finally, decades later, as I've been didn't know I was preparing for this kind of a fight. I thought I was going to be U.S. Senator and I was going to do it there. But getting a chance to be out in the world like I have been, I can't even tell you what an honor it is. I mean, I wish I could, I can't really hear, but all this stuff you see behind me, the first really 2 years, stuff was coming to me, to my office address, in the mail. Like, all this is handmade stuff back here. Like, just people were doing these things. I'd show up at events, they'd have these things made with their own creativity, their own money, packages coming in the mail. When I lived downtown Dallas, I had these columns that were like this wide, like square columns, old building from the 20s, a big old department store. Had this massive columns went through up every single level. And I had this one column that I was just putting it around in a circle, and that circle grew so wide and the stack grew so high with all these unbelievable gifts that were coming constantly, that I just thought, man, all these years that I've been doing this for free, frustrated because I would always get like family people like that, get out and vote and all that. And they, work in campaigns and doing all that stuff. I was kind of annoying at times to be around, because like, what's wrong with you people? I mean, this is what you're talking about. There's 1 million soldiers on the Pakistani-India border ready to launch a nuclear war. You guys are talking about this shit. And that was always my mindset. And so this Patriot Street Fighter probably saved my soul, because it had built up so much in me that, and that's why when I decided that day, in January, I think it was Monday morning, I woke up after the 2019 launch of Antifa BLM, burning cities down, killing people, and the scumbag politicians, law enforcement, mayors, just letting it happen. And that's when it just finally, the powder keg went blue. And that's when I'm like, F this shit. I'm going to start a radio show, and if these bastards won't say what needs to be said, I'm going to say it myself. And I honestly thought they'd kill me within a year. I told my family, be prepared, because they're not going to let people like me do this and live. But it really was that. I mean, it's decades in the making, and I got to say, fuck you to the world's power structure, and you're going to get me, but I'm going to deliver my own, victory for humanity on the way out the door. So it's been beyond a privilege and honor of my life, and it's because of the people and being on those tours for 2 years. I wish I could inject in the three of you what that feels like in your soul when you're going around the country and everywhere you show up. Our brothers and sisters in the angelic realm are all coming together. The light beings of the planet are coming together to join this battle and take down this satanic realm. And it was just, when things are happening in that moment, I don't want to say you don't appreciate it, because we do, but you don't realize the gravity of it, and the gravity of not, your effect on all of this, but the gravity of just this happening, human beings coming together like this. And if anything happened that day at any event, we would all die for each other. That's the frequency in that temporal, I call it the temporal love bubble. It was just such an unbelievable experience. And I said, man, around the country, I'd meet guys like Jim, like ranchers out in Nebraska, big ranchers, come up, give me a hug, big men, tears streaming down their face, tough guys, tears run. And this isn't just one time, this is multiple times. Tears run down their face. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And here I am receiving this and watching this emotional, overflow, this rugged dude, and it was beyond, I think, what anybody could deserve. And it had such an impact on me. I'm like, I will fight to the death. The only way, and I said it on the channel many times, I've said it on stages all over the country, there's one way this stops with me. You're going to have to put a bullet in my head, because there is nothing. There's nothing else except this. And that was, a lot of it was provoked by all of you and all the beautiful people out there. So yeah, I just wish I could inject a little bit of that so people just for 1 second feel what that is like when you see this nation of warriors uniting, in person, face to face. It's the greatest blessing of my lifetime. I swear. It's just, I look back at it and you wish you could slow it down and know what's really happening when it's happening, and capture every second of it, and be able to focus on it. But you're always on the move. It's like you just kind of got to do the next thing and the next thing. But again, don't ever underestimate this, the importance all of you have had to the Patriot Street Fighter movement, and the importance that you have to us winning this war. And in beginning, when I was talking to Nino very early on, and we say something about being on channels, and I said, "No, I go on a ton of small new channels." Really? And I said, absolutely. I'm like, look, this war doesn't need a 1,000 generals. It needs 10 million soldiers. These podcasters that are coming out and have the balls to turn a camera on, and you're opening yourself up for everything, attacks and everything, the stupid shit people say about you and all that. They're coming to the battlefield, and I want them to know, I want my audience to say, here's one here, bring it, go on another channel, and just constantly basically recruiting a podcast army. So we're all moving forward together on offense. And again, I want to minimize my role in all of it, because there is no Patriot Street Fighter without you guys, the podcasters, without we the people. And so again, I just try to push back onto you what you just gave me, and I'm not doing a very good job of it. But thanks for showing me your mom. I wish I could. Where do you live, by the way? I wish I could have met her in person. Where do you live?
I actually live in central Illinois. I live just south of the swamp of Chicago. So, and we have our studio up in Chicago, and I mean we got a parking lot that's 5 acres long, and I'd love to bring your bus in there and I-90 goes right by, so you can park your bus
Done deal.
right there on I-90.
Done deal.
And
Done
it
deal.
goes through.
Well,
So
we'll put it on this. We'll put it on the schedule for the summer. 100%.
Okay. Yep.
God,
So,
I want to just share this this video. I wanted to do this little bit of introduction here, and so the audience in Brazil and South America knows a little bit more about Scott Mckay. And we share, just so you know, Anna and I share a lot of your videos, and we have an admin who takes everything and puts it in Portuguese. So the
Wow.
videos that we put on our channel, so like Sheila's videos and Juan's videos and all the videos, even, you know, we've been doing Mike Jaco, who we'd love to do some things with Mike. Mike's another staple on this, that you want to talk about a guy with a level head and intelligence and experience. Mike Jaco's that guy. So shout out to Mike Jaco, and then Nino.
Mike's he's one of the rarest ducks I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
You know, an unbelievably powerful being that could, you know, I mean, let's face it, he's a killing machine. Who exhibits more love in his soul than he does the latter. And you mix in the measure of humility that guy has.
Mm-hmm.
I've yet to meet anybody like him. I've
Mhm.
never met anybody like him, and he's truly a special human.
Yeah.
I resonate with Mike a lot. So, anyhow, I want to start this off, this show, and we want to play a video, and then we want to hand it over to you, because this video will lead into everything, including this weekend, tomorrow's superb owl. And we'll play this video, and then I'm gonna hand it to you, and then we can all have this round table about this video. Okay?
Yeah, this
ahead,
video is it's just 2 minutes long, but it sets the stage pretty good.
What does that mean?
To take something in.
Okay, excellent. To absorb. Anyone?
Everywhere, all the time.
So what is ubiquitous assimilation?
Always absorbing everything everywhere all the time.
Well done, George. How are you to imagine anything if the images are always provided for you? Who here read 1984 last year? Good. Anyone? Meredith?
Having two opposing beliefs at once and believing that both are true.
Excellent, Meredith. To deliberately believe in lies while knowing they're false. Examples of this in everyday life. Oh, I need to be pretty to be happy. I need surgery to be pretty. I need to be thin, famous, fashionable. This is a marketing holocaust. 24 hours a day for the rest of our lives. The powers that be are hard at work, dumbing us to death. So, to defend ourselves and fight against assimilating this dullness into our thought processes, we must learn to read, to stimulate our own imaginations, to cultivate our own consciousness, our own belief systems. We all need these skills to defend, to preserve our own minds.
Pretty powerful, huh, Scott?
That's one of the most powerful things I've seen to date. Holy crap.
Yeah, so we wanted to start this show off with you because you do a great job on describing how this matrix has gone on for so many years, and now we're waking up to this matrix. Can you put into your words that video? And if you got to take a minute to put your thoughts together, because there's a lot here, and I get it, and I know I've been thinking about it, and we kind of put this on you in the last second. So take your time. Like I say, we're recording this, so This is very important because there's so many people that are now just entering the movement. And this whole Democrat Republican mindset that they got us believing in, and they've always done everything to fucking divide us. And now we're starting to come together. And I wanted to throw this video at you because I knew that you would like it and that we can use this as a tool moving forward to bring more people in to unify.
You got to be careful when you say to me to take your time, because that's something I never have to be told. I get down one trail and I end up, 4 miles away, and somehow I find my way back home, but it takes time to get to the point. So I apologize for that. And I do want to address that specifically. And the only way I can do that is to tell a little bit about my story in my life of how I felt insignificant and what it took to overcome that, to eventually one day turn a camera on, live stream it, and say, you bastards are liars, thieves, and killers, and I'm going to wake people up around the world to take your ass down. That's absurd that anybody would do that in the first place, given where we were, 6 years ago. But and the pain I have in my life is I see people who, a low self-esteem, poor self-image. There is nothing more traumatic and painful than living a life of insignificance, because the whole world around you makes you see yourself that way. And I understand that. And I'll tell you, I grew up in a lower middle class family. My dad, obviously ex-military, so I went to boot camp. He was offered an appointment to West Point when he was an active duty soldier, an E-7 soldier, tank driver in Germany. He refused it, shorten the story, because he didn't think he was smart enough. They can try to convince him 2 years of prep school, you'll be ready for West Point, 4 years there. My dad said, then it's 6 years active, and he didn't understand there's a difference between an officer and, rank and file. But my grandmother couldn't even talk him into it. But he brought the Army home, and that was my upbringing, 18 years of boot camp. And I hated it, hated him at times, but all of that hard work and all that discipline that I got kicked up my ass, I just despised him for it. But here's the thing is, as I was playing sports when I was growing up, I was the weakest guy on my football team my sophomore year. We rank ordered 1 through 67, strength and agility. I was a basketball player. That was my sport. But after 9th grade, we go from junior high to high school, and the coaches says, hey, you want to play football? You're going to be here 3 times a week in the summer to hit the weight room with a team if you want to get a uniform or whatever. So I did that, and I was number 67 out of 67 at the end of the summer, right? Now, catapult that, I don't know, a few years later, 5, 6 years later, I'm in a national competitive bodybuilding stage, a very good heavyweight, and tracking myself to get to the pros. How does that happen? I'll tell you how. That humiliation I suffered in that weight room that day, everybody looking at the wall, looking at where we rank ordered. They remember who's first and who's last. And you know what the person that's last gets from his buddies? That was painful, humiliating. And so I just, after football season at nighttime in my basement, I had a musty basement with these plastic weights with cement in them, all that shit from way back in the 70s and 80s. And I just went to work, and I didn't know where it'd lead. I just thought, if I work hard, God's going to give me something for this, right? And of course, it turned out to be that. All through those years, even though I'm having these successes in life, I still was extremely conservative because of insecurities, doubt, self-worth. Not, and it sounds worse than it is, but we have this intrinsic part of us. It's just a little subtle tap on the shoulder. You're not all that, or you don't have those capacities to do this. We all live with that because this machine drives us into the ground emotionally that way. And so I've always been in a fight to try to make myself feel valuable to the world, or to me, to measure up. And it was, it was always a long battle. I looked on the surface, I looked, the part looked, and I was confident in many areas, but there's still this internal thing that you really don't feel this value. You have doubts in yourself. And I see that every day with people. I can meet them, look in their eyes, talk to them. and I can feel it. It's an energy frequency that we all pick up from each other. And that to me triggers something in me, and my attention goes into, I've got to, in the next couple minutes, I'm meeting this person, 5, 10, whatever time I'm talking to them, 15 minutes, I'm going to find a way to get down in their soul, and I'm going to grab that core that has, because I can feel the frequency of who they really are, pull it up and show it to them. This is who you really are. And I did that in the private fitness industry when I moved to Los Angeles. And that was how I would get people who, I was in the Hollywood world, mainly the people behind the scenes run the machine or clients of mine. And I found it fascinating, very powerful management company owners or agents or directors. I saw these issues with them. And they're very powerful. I thought, this is interesting. Even rich, powerful, influential people still have these insecurities the world puts on us. And so what I would do to get their mind into a framework that, oh, I'm out of shape, I'm overweight, I don't really have any muscle tone or whatever. I knew I just had to get down in his head and get a hold of their thinking and build that from the inside out. And what would happen over the course of time, their bodies would transform. And it was like I was injecting belief in them until they could prove it to themselves. Their objective was to get in shape. And they looked in the mirror like, oh, I could see it in like, oh my God, I really can get stronger. I can, thinner, whatever. And that taught me a lesson. We are all under this thing. I don't care what kind of money people have or successes or whatever. We are all under the offensive weapon of this satanic energy field that has taken over the planet. And for me, the fight is, I gotta help these people find value, because nothing is a greater spiritual foundation than when you believe that you truly matter. Okay. And it's still, I didn't have that all to in my own capacities to where maybe I do today. But one thing people need to understand about this matrix and this realm we live in and who they are as a angelic being in human form is that none of this out here matters and nobody else does. What matters is, how do you feel in here knowing you are connected to a divine, powerful photonic force that ignited, a spiritual light being explosion throughout the entire metaverse, and you're one of them, right? You're not from the dark side. You're not envied by the angelic realm as humans are because of what we represent in the spiritual world. They would love to have the powers that we do. You say, what do you mean? Is an angel can fly and do this? Yeah, but they know our true spiritual and physical capacities that the satanic realm is put into a small box. So we can't manifest a reality of wonder and wealth and beauty and happiness just from the spiritual core of what our creator made this very special species, humans, to be. That's why, non-terrestrial life in, far away solar systems, when they're moving through the universe, and now you can tell NASA and every government starting to admit, oh yeah, there is other beings out there in this creation than just us. But if they're coming in this direction, they try to come as close to planet Terra as they possibly can. That's what Earth is to them, planet Terra, just to be somewhere in range 1,000,000 miles from humans, right? That's how powerful and beautiful we are and what we represent, but we don't know it. We walk around in life with our heads down. And I don't know what gets people to that place and or what time it happens, but I do not care what you look like. I do not care what skin color you are. I don't care how much money you have, what country you live in, poverty, wealth, whatever. None of that shit matters. None of it is true. They fooled you. They've made you believe less than yourself, because if you discover your power, and we all do, the satanic realm disintegrates in a molecular fashion because it can't survive the high frequency of this angelic realm. And it took me a long time to get there. I mean, to have the confidence to tell this criminal empire, go fuck yourself. You're going to have to come here and shoot me to stop me. And by the way, good luck with that. You have 22 million pissed off Patriot Street Fighters to deal with after that. Always taunting these people from stages around the country and whatever. Um, I was pulled out of a grave once. That doesn't scare me. When you face death, it's coming. You're just rectified. You rectified in your soul. Okay, it's over. I'm moving on to the next realm. Then you get kicked back on the playing field because God just said, "You're not coming here, buddy, until you clean your language up." So, anyways, I have to now go through all this, and that catastrophic event, all of that stripped everything from me. I go from this, person that has some good potential. Again, looked the part. Didn't always have the end result, but I looked the part. And I had a life, and it instantly is destroyed. And you paralyzed, broken beyond repair. Enough metal in me to build a bicycle. Not supposed to be upright, let alone walking again. You face that. You have a choice to make. I'm going to be this for the rest of my life. That's what they're telling me. And nah, not me. It's okay. You'll be fine. We'll get you some counseling. Other people adapted this way. And most people say, oh, I guess I can't because the doctor said so. And I had great surgeons and doctors. They saved my life and did amazing things, the nurses. But their paradigm is that. My paradigm was Christ said to us, these works you will do even greater than I. Right? What does that mean? I said, from every stage in America, is Christ a bullshitter? Is he a bullshitter just saying that for effect? No. Why did he say that? Because he knew what we all are. We all have the same power that Christ did, and he was here to show us the way and drag us out of this matrix that they already had, enveloped the planet. And he wasn't a sheep either. He was a lion. You don't take on the most powerful force in the world at that time. You don't just spit in their face. You go in a temple, you kick their asses. He was physical, busted tables, threw their asses out, and then went around telling everybody the truth about his ascension process. And when he's, was the Bible, they stripped that out. Where was he for 18 years after 12 years old? We don't know that. They don't want to tell us. Traveling through India, Tibet, Iraq, meeting with and studying and being with shamans and Buddhists, people of high consciousness. He just happened to be the elevator that could exceed everybody. And he says to us, these works you will do and even greater than I. He's trying to get it through us into our heads, like I'm trying to get it through to people. If you can just consistently ponder, contemplate, daydream, or meditate once a day for 10 minutes, envision, try to ask, who am I? Who am I? Who am I really? And if you need an exercise to get there, try this. It's not easy. It's not easy to say, okay, I'm going to keep doing this every morning. Take 5 minutes in a day. Stand in front of a full-length mirror, and here you are, and you just do this. Eye to eye, and just keep looking into those eyes. Because eventually this kind of falls away from your view and your vision. And there's something that you're connecting deep inside of this, like in this whole of a universe. And you're trying to find, who are you? And before you know, it doesn't take long. You just feel things stripping away, and you're looking in the eyes of this angelic realm, this soul is standing in front of you, and you'll start to feel things fall away. And I don't know how it works, but there's something that kind of comes in up through, your solar plexus, and you start to feel this value in yourself because you're looking into this mirror, and the mirror is projecting the truth. And if you can stay focused, that's why you keep eye contact. Your thoughts will go other places. That just happens, and you pull them back in. And after a while, the thoughts don't keep reaching in and pulling your attention. It just keeps a laser focus. And over time, try it for 2 weeks straight. Watch what you start to think about yourself. You're making that metaphysical connection with all of creation, the vibration of all of the light that exists, and you start to feel something inside, which is called truth. It's who you really are. They stole that from you. They built a machine on the planet with quintillions of dollars, an architecture that they have a control mechanism through all of it on planet Earth in every country to project media, radio, TV, electronic digital billboards, bullshit, movies, TV shows, constantly program, 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 program. Why do you think they call them programs? Program their mind. It's a blank hard drive. Program it, program it. What comes out when you program it? Exactly what we put in, right? The problem is we're not like a computer. I can go over here, boom, blank the whole hard drive and start again. You can't do that here because they program you, and this negativity of yourself, who you see yourself as, the glass is full. How do you change it? You keep pouring this kind of thinking in, and you keep pushing down that dark energy and fill the glass up with the light. That's what happens to your soul. That's how important you are, how powerful you are. You, this person watching this, they've just spent thousands of years constructing architecture because you're so effing dangerous to that realm. They have gone to extraordinary measures in this machine they built on the planet. That's why the Matrix movie is so important to see. What it took me to get there was this. When I had to face what I had to face, I am living in a home, I'm married, and it wasn't a good one. I had only been married for a year, known this person for 2 decades, and the constant weight and assault of insecurity, accusations, all this pathological lies, all this bullshit weighing down on me. And what, because of this person and this thing, led to me nearly being killed to that day. That's what propagated that day on that road when I'm face down dying from that crash. Once I'm now, after many, many months back home in bed, bedridden for a long time, get in wheelchairs, move around, I had 2 wars to fight. This person and me walking again. I'm like, I can't fight 2 wars at once. I'll lose them both. So I ended up homeless, crippled, penniless 8 months after this crash at the hand of this person. It ended up getting divorced. It was going to anyways. But imagine the fear of that. Nowhere to go, right? Nobody was offering, hey, we're going to take you in. I couldn't. I mean, I can't work. I'm complete. I lost my company. I drained it trying to survive. I lost virtually every single thing I owned, and eventually my car. That is where I had to start. With no hope, no money, no opportunity, didn't have rich family or parents or whatever. And I ended up 8 months later, well, I guess it was it 8 months after? I ended up back in California. I was living in New Jersey at the time. I ended up back in California because a very wonderful elderly Jewish man who's a very close friend of mine, an Ashkenazi Jew, by the way, took me in for 4.5 years, got a bedroom, bathroom. You're going to stay here. And he was in a motorized chair at the time because he lost his ability to walk from a rare disease in the world that only Ashkenazi Jews get. And so I was at this point right here that I was gonna finish the job should have happened that day. But all I had was hope. And I just thought, I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to fight through this horrendous pain to do whatever it takes to walk again. I'm not going to accept this, right? Not going to accept it. So I had this beautiful man. I had my own bedroom, bathroom. We had a great time. We were sports fans and watched, all the stuff we do together. Such a great experience. He eventually passed away last year. Second most beautiful man in my life besides the general. And I didn't know that opportunity was coming. I didn't know somebody was going to say, come and live with me. You're going to not even ask. You're coming here. You belong here. You're done with that nonsense there. You're going to get your life back. That's what taking a step forward, just one. When your life sucks, you focus on where there's goodness and you focus on it and you step in that direction. And what you see, and it's very important. I'm gonna recommend a book. And sorry, this is what happens to me. It gets wordy because it's like I've got to capture as many people as I can in a conversation to get them to wake up so they know they're valued and loved by their creator and all of us. Don't let them keep you down from where you should be. But all I could do every single day was take one day. Every day is going to be a victory. I'll take the pain. I've got to find a victory. And the victory could be the end of the day, whatever they were, going to bed at night and just knowing that I did not let them win. They took everything from me. That accident in my opinion, and I won't get into the depths of how I know, but when it was ready to unfold and what I was doing at that moment, why am I going this fast? It's almost like I couldn't stop myself, come around this bend. There's a van, I'm dead, right? But I thought, you're not going to win this. And I can't say we all have fear, we all have doubt. You don't really know. You don't have to know. That's what is called faith. I'm just keep going one day, attack, 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 attack. Almost 5 years. I'm walking again. I'm out of a wheelchair. I'm on Moby Lake crutches for a long time, eventually on a cane. And, and then, you're walking very feebly and whatever. You keep what are people thinking of me? I go back into a gym in California in this condition where people knew me 10 years ago as this very powerful physique and, as a world I lived in, and they see this very sad remainder of a shell of this man who we used to like, wow, that's Scott. He looks great. He's doing good things in his life. Oh my God. They don't know what to say. That's the shit I had to deal with. And I just like, none of that matters. I am going to create a story here. And I said this when I was in still bedridden early on. I told my ex-wife, I'm going to walk again. I'm going to get my life back, and then I'm going to be on church stages around the world or the country, and I'm going to tell the Christian community this is what, and I didn't call it the Christ consciousness then, but this is the power we have that Christ tried to tell us. What ended up happening? When I'd say something like that, like, it's okay. You'll be fine. It'll take time to accept it. You'll be okay. I'm not accepting anything except the true potential that I get to unleash into this world to find out who I really am. And I can tell you this, not everything that happens bad is bad. And not everything that happens to you that's good is good for you, right? The best thing that ever happened to me, this very powerful guy, again, I was in a political realm at that time and, doing different things where you have a little bit of a profile and people know you, respect you. They know you can do good things in the political world, all that. Everything goes away. Everybody goes away. Nobody's there to help. Had two or three people that stepped in eventually. But because now I get to start at ground zero like a newborn baby, I took advantage of it. And I'm going to prove to the world. That's what I said. I'm going to prove to the world. And I couldn't finish the rest of the sentence. And people look at me, and of course I get, these good tidings from people like, you're a miracle, you're incredible, you're this and that. I'm like, yeah, hang around me for a while. You'll see I'm really not all that. That's why I travel the country. So people get around me and like, yeah, he's really not all that. Exactly. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The pedestal is bullshit. We all can do what I did. And that's what I'm trying to get people to do, to find that in them. So when I look at them, I don't see this pain. And no matter how much they fake a smile or whatever, and we're talking, I still can feel that pain in that soul because they don't feel the value from the people around them, their family, their coworker, anybody, their boss, the world. They don't feel valued. And that sucks. And it's horrible. You know who makes you feel valued? You do. You do. It took me being destroyed twice. 5 years later, I said, I'm going to walk again, ride again. And I did it. 5 years later, I get my dream Harley Davidson. I'm downtown Dallas, coming in town, 10 o'clock at night. Major intersection, big Texas pickup truck blows through the red light, drills me from the side at high speed. I'm flying through the air across 4 lanes of traffic. My bike's airborne, headed head first to a curb. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to make it out of this one. I land on my back and my bike's here. And I'm just like, you're trying to recover from the trauma. And I remember because I'm an optimist, the first thing I thought, I looked around and I was like, on my back, I was like, holy shit, I just landed in the only patch of grass in downtown Dallas. Things are looking up for me, right? Then pick up the left leg, which I won't get into the injuries, but gruesome injuries all over again. And you say to yourself, are you shitting me? We had a deal. Like, what the hell's this? Right? And you got to go through that again. And, you might want to fold out, but I couldn't because I made this comeback. That's the stupidest guy in the world. I had friends come in that I was with that day and evening, and they came in at 2 a.m. I'm in a trauma center, and I see the look in their eyes. And imagine how you're going to feel like a total idiot. You did this again. So they looked at me. Here's my leg grotesquely busted. And I just looked up and I said, well, guys, I guess an epic comeback wasn't enough. God wants a super epic comeback. And they're like, you are truly crazy. But that's what my mind had to throw out to explain how stupid I was, right? For getting on a bike again. Well, then we make the comeback. And then I get my new Harley Davidson, right? My friend who saw me come back from halfway through the first one and the whole second one comes over. I'm like, come on, check something out, Joe. There's my bike. Are you out of your fucking mind? I'm like, well, we've already established that. How do you like the bike? He's like, have you not learned an effing thing from all this? I'm like, yeah. Like, what have you learned? I'm like, what I've learned is I'm impossible to kill. That's what I've learned. How do you like my bike? Right? My mindset was I wasn't going to let any of that make me look like the fool that I look to a lot of people. All right. So what do I do today? I've got two beautiful machines set in my garage. It's my church. That's where I have my best prayer time. Guy says to me, another friend, why would you do that? I said, well, I said with my injuries, and I mean, I look normal most of the time. I limp a little bit, but I look normal when I walk, right, Jim? Whenever you meet me, I'm like, there's nothing wrong with him. It looks pretty normal, right? If there's pretty girls around, I can walk perfectly. You can't notice anything, right? Just the way it is. I don't know, it's a weird genetic thing that it was affected by, but the reality of that was, okay, I'm not gonna end up here. I'm not gonna land here. I still didn't know what I could do, but I know I can work. I'm going to do work and see where it leads. And I keep saying, I'm going to walk again because I can't look like the idiot that I am right now. So now today, my friend says, I can't, why would you do that? I said, well, because I'm not going to skydive anymore because I couldn't land, and without breaking everything apart again. I'm not going to be climbing hills, elk hunting. I'm not going to be standing in a fast stream fly fishing anymore because I don't have the proper footing and a lot of other things I said. But there's one thing that I can do that I love to do more than anything else is to get on my church on two wheels and get out there into the world. What am I going to do? Not do that because I might be hurt or killed? I'm like, so I'm going to tiptoe through the rest of my life in fear? I'm like, fuck that. I'm going to get my Harley Davidson and I'm going to church. I'm prayer time. I can feel everything. I can smell everything. I can see everything. I got the planet connected to me, the wind, all of that. That's what feeds my soul. I'm not going to do that because I might be hurt. Look, being dead's not, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. How screwed up is that? Because they made us fear death. Death is a beautiful thing. It's you got the experience here you came for, just like the many thousands or millions you've already had in cycles. And here you get to move into the next realm. What's wrong with that? And they trained us. Instead of celebrating an ascension, I'm so sad. You can't believe this happened. Or don't do this, you might be killed. That mindset doesn't make any sense to me because Braveheart said it best. He says, every man dies, but not every man truly lives. That's what the human species is under all the time. So whatever you think you can or cannot do, you are where I used to be. It took a brutal experience and being stripped to the bone of everything in this world that I had. And I got to start over at ground zero, not with a healthy body, not with any, sustenance. I refused the disability check. People are you crazy? This is what I can't have my mind believing that I'm disabled. If I have to look at a disability check every month from the treasurer or whatever, what happens? The frequency changes. My mind starts to see you're disabled, you're disabled, you're disabled, you're disabled. I'd rather be hungry than have that influence. taken my belief system. And I struggled. I ate eggshells for 2 years every day because I didn't have any supplements for calcium to heal these bones. I ground them up. I put them in an oven, dried them out, put them in a coffee maker, ground them up into fine powder, and I just hit eggshells every day so I could get calcium to heal all these bones. You say, who in the hell would do that? Anybody, you would do it. If you had no other option, you would do the same thing. You can't fathom it because you have a life. When you don't have one, you do whatever it takes. And every one of us have this in us. Everyone. And I've known this about me. I'm not that special. I went from where I did in sports to the national competitive bodybuilding stage. And because I did that, I'm like, oh, I know what I am. I'm really not all that much. That means they all can do it too. How do I help them understand they can do what I did? I wasn't put in this planet, Scott Mckay, you were going to be this force on a planet. It's all bullshit. We all come in at the same level, the highest level there is, angelic light. We're all there. And we got to find a way to break through and accept what we really are. We're getting there because you got 4 people on a battlefield right now projecting ammunition right to these bastards that took over the planet, the banking system, media, governments, Hollywood, big tech. And here the 4 of us are launching our war against them from our own houses. These are soldiers right here. You can do it too. Because if you have it in your soul that you want the best for your kids, your grandkids, the future, the people around you, you have no idea what you're capable of. I never saw Patriot Street Fighter coming. If I did nothing, if I didn't wake up that Sunday or Monday in 2020, after Antifa and BLM beat the shit out of the country and were killing people and burning the city down, I got seriously pissed and I'm like, F this. I never talked like this, by the way. People that know me, when Patriot Street Fighter came on, they're like, what the hell happened to him? He's full-blown lunatic. Listen to his language in front of the world. Go fuck yourself, right? Now, that's called righteous anger. In fact, I was in front of a pastor once, and we were having a discussion. We were talking about this whole thing, the world as it's unfolding in its satanic realm. I said, Pastor, you know what the 2 most powerful words on this planet are right now, today, for this time, the 2 most powerful, forceful words? He says, what? I said, fuck you. He started laughing. He said, you're absolutely right. And I've had pastors drop F-bombs in front of me to show me that they are aligned with this force. Forget the semantics of language. By the way, FUCK stands for fornication under consent of the king. It's a real term and a real capacity back when, but they make you think, oh, it's a dirty word, all this. Forget the semantics of language. That's all about division. Remember when we were young, if you said shit or hell, you can't, oh my God, you're standing in the corner, you said shit. It's an enunciation with sound and what? Right?
Mhm.
That's how they make us think. You're in a penalty box because you said this.
Mhm.
I'd be like, oh, I feel terrible and I'm in a penalty box. Fuck that bullshit. I don't want to, it's just a mindset that I was willing to bust through. I'd had enough of watching, and I didn't know what it was at the time. Humans being beaten to death, having terrible self-esteem, feeling bad about themselves, some douchebag bully picking on this kid in 7th grade and he can't defend himself every day. And I'd be like, I'm a skinny young kid. One day, I'm going to get bigger, stronger, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to beat the shit out of you, Butch, for how you treated my friend Joe in school. I never forget that shit. Years later, I'm 260-pound muscle head. Nobody wants to mess with you because they think you can fight too, which doesn't mean you can. You're just bigger and stronger. And I'd be at a bonfire back home, and the same bully would come up like he's my best friend. Hey, I'm like, now, I don't have it in my heart to say, I'm going to beat the shit out of you now. I'd be like, nah, you're sad. I feel sad for you, and I could let it go. I don't know where I'm going with all this. All I'm trying to give you is an inside look at the truth about me. Whatever you see me when I'm out there with a tomahawk and a motorcycle or a bus or whatever, I'm telling these people, come and get me. I'm right here. Go F yourself. We're taking you down, by the way.
Because
That is
because it's not you anymore. It's you in your higher
warrior angelic realm.
Yeah, exactly, because it's not Scots from 20 years ago. You are aligned, and that's why you have this the source inside of you, pushing you, giving you all the instruments. Because sometimes I feel that, Scott, that sometimes it's not, I'm totally aware of what I'm saying, of what I'm writing to the people, but I know it's not Anna anymore. It's totally because I'm connected to higher, to my heart,
Your higher self.
to my higher self. And they are waiting for this. They are waiting for me to step into this. I call it a character because it's not all the time. And that's what Christ did. He was not all the time Christ Yeshua, right? He at some point of his life, he became Christ Yeshua, but
Mhm.
when he was in training, and I see that this first act of our lives as an opera, that we have acts, and I see this first act of your life, of my life, as a training, and we needed the training. We need to feel this anger, we need to feel this passion, and this we need to lose so we can embrace, and receive more. And we have to lose ourselves to be more of ourselves, if it makes sense to someone. And
You're losing your worldly self. That's what you're losing. Your worldly self. Yeah.
yes, you are not in this realm anymore, and you can say, yes, I am. And it's simple like this. It sounds as there's a song from Madonna, which is a powerhouse for me when I want to bring this reminder, which the music is iconic. The name is iconic, and Mike Tyson comes into the lyrics, and I'm the best in the world has ever. I'm the best of the world has ever seen. And of course, for me, I have a deep appreciation for Cassius Clay, because it's my dad's favorite fighter. But Mike Tyson comes to the music, and of course, he's totally related to the movement, about exposing how the system is, what the system brings to those people who are not very much aligned to the system. So the system use them to portray to show the others. So if you do something, you pay attention what we are doing to them. Fuck
Mhm.
them, fuck
Exactly.
them. I'm sorry, you guys.
No, listen, this is,
So,
let me
yeah,
tell you,
it-
this is awesome. I was going to throw up both of them and say, yeah,
and it's coming.
Anna, I
Unleash
didn't
yourself.
hear you. Anna, I didn't hear
unleash
you.
Oh
yourself.
my God. And it's coming from a lady. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Now you're going to
Listen,
think that Brazil is no. Brazil is extremely elegant, please.
Yeah.
The
well,
Brazil
you know what?
image
Let me
that
tell you something.
there's in the world, it's completely wrong.
I'm so happy you said that. I'm
Oh,
happy
Anna.
you said it because I got, it's like when I use this language, and I said this to, I forget who I was on a Zoom with, and obviously I had to do with a past or somebody, but oh, I know who it was. It was Tactical Civics corporate. They're very devout Christians, and my language sometimes becomes an issue for them. And I said, look, everybody loves General Pat. He's heralded throughout history. And we know his language. It was awful. Made Patriot Street Fighter be a church-going saint. And somebody said to him, General, do you even read the Bible? He says, I read it every goddamn day. It's like they create a divisive weapon of language. Oh, you can't say that. Anyways, Anna, you unleash yourself. And if you're like Muhammad Ali, I got to do this impersonation because it's the one most memorable when I was a kid. And I don't know if he beat Foreman or who he beat, but they're interviewing him. He's looking at the camera, goes, I'm the greatest in the world. I'm the greatest in the world. I'm a bad man and I'm pretty.
Yeah, and
This is the
I
most
like
arrogant person I've ever heard in my life. Now we love it.
I have more. I am more. I'm quicker than a fly. I'm quicker than a fly. You
Yeah,
see?
he says,
It's fucking
I
awesome.
float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. You know how
Yeah.
arrogant that sounds? Honestly.
He was being
How
hard
about,
to
how about
himself.
this one, Scott?
Yes.
He says,
Yes.
I'm so fast I could go over and shut that lights off and be sitting in my chair before you even see the light go on.
I'm sorry, I forgot the name when he became a Muslim. Yes, it's Muhammad Ali, and I grew up listening from my dad, who loves listening to him still today. His old, no, I'm not going to the war. Why? Why? What
Yeah.
am I going to do that there? So yeah, and we are here because I am here because of Muhammad Ali. I'm here because the man in the mirror. I am the man in the mirror, right? Because
Love it.
Yeah.
the best teachers that we have, and I have to point out those names because they're not only powerhouses on sales for the movies that are coming out. For example, Michael Jackson. I'm not going to see it. I'm not, well, please guys go watch it because it's the beginning of his message. But I grew up with him. He's my best teacher. He is my best teacher because he's alive inside of me. Everything that he said and what he have gone through is in me. I witnessed. And because of their stories, that's why I do my channel. Guys, the emperor has no clothes. And I
Mhm.
can see that. Why don't you? So, and I here in Brazil, we have the channel, and we have a smaller group where we talk weekly. And there are many people who now understand the plan is much more about us stepping up to what we are in this
Yep.
whole arena.
Waking up.
Yes,
Yes.
to our
Yep.
life.
Remembering. It's all about remembering who we really are.
Yes.
I am who I am. And this is why we chose that video to show in this podcast, Scott, because it leads into every aspect of our life. I mean, you're not born Democrat, you're not born Republican. You're born as one of God's children. We're the Christ within us, and we are discovering the great awakening of the Christ within us. And I can tell you from my perspective, you had a part of it. Gene Decode had a part of it, and I'm going to bring them up, and that is Negative 48, Michael Protzman, the character. He had a big part of it. And I've learned so much from all you guys. And I still remember when Negative 48 and Sabrina gave you that phone call, and we were all on that call on Telegram, and you were blown away by what was going on. And I have a video of it.
I have a theory, a theory that I'm going to posit to you here that is plausible if you follow this track. JFK Jr. has been protected by the military since he was a kid because the powers that be killed his father for a reason. Again, like I said, Donald Trump would never take this mission on unless they knew they would kill the beast, kill it, destroy it completely. Because they know in 50, 100, 200 years later, that genetic line would have to be wiped out because they'll figure it out and they'll come after it down the road. Same with John F. Kennedy. Junior said, I'm going to bring my father's killers into the courtroom, even if I have to bring down the government. He meant it.
The license plate, GG300, says 266 equals 300. And 266 is, are you ready for the shit? 266. Are you ready for the light? 266. And 2 times 66 is 132. JFK Jr. is alive, 132. It's the mere reflection of 231. My dad died in the backseat of the car, 231. I'm the 7.7 billion to one guy, 231. The calm before the storm, 231. I'm the calm. The storm is not very far away from me. And he is as bad as it fucking gets. Right, Shelly?
You got it.
He is the shit show. Because shit's going to fly everywhere. Shit flies uphill. Because shit is 56 and light is 56. Light is going to shine everywhere when the hammering God shows up. There's going to be more truth shit spread everywhere It's going to be a shit show, which is a light show. You might as well have a lightsaber, a shit saber. He's going to start flinging shit everywhere. Shit's going to go downhill, uphill, sideways, forward, backwards, upside down 130. We will win 130. Forward and backwards 167. King of the World 167. Enjoy the show 167.
He's going to run for the Senate seat in 1999, Democrat primary. And who jumps in? Clinton's coming out of the White House. Hillary is going to carpetbag New York, and she's going to run. What does that mean? You're not going to get in the way of Hillary. I had her last name in my head. Hillary is a Rockefeller. Bill Clinton is from the Rothschild bloodline, as I understand. So, anyways, you're not gonna take that on and survive it. So, what happens is, I understand there was a day that the security team had inspected Junior's, and I read this. I know a lot of you people did. Had inspected his plane, and there was a putty strip around the fuselage. And it probably was very well concealed, but his security detail found it. And that putty strip was actually C4. And as they looked at the whole thing, it had an altitude trigger on it, which means when he's going up in his plane, hits an altitude, boom, it's going to come down. And we know what happens.
My president and I always win evil 351. Holy shit, I'm working. No, that's different. Holy shit, I am working with God is totally different than we. That's a different. Somebody, I think that's 322, which is Skull and Bones Nazi number, which is let the John shit show begin. And full reduction of that is 133, which is 48, which is evil. Full reduction of evil. Let the John shit show begin, 322. And of course, in reverse, it's 331. Yeah, which is how we write March 31st. But in a year, they write it 31-3, which 313 is the frame on the Zapruder film where the bullet hit JFK's head. It's game over. This time we win. 311. They shot him at 12:29. 12 is 3. 2 and 9 is 11. 311. It's game over. This time we win. 311.
And we can put it in this recording, Mike, and it's you, Scott, talking about JFK Jr. And when you solidified what I thought, and when you brought your story into it, I was like, damn, this is game on. And I knew in 2017, and there's friends of mine that'll watch this, I was watching President Trump's inauguration speech. And when he said today, in 2017 now, when he said today is a very special day because this is not a transfer of power from one party to another or from one administration to another. This is a transfer of power from Washington, D.C. back to you, the people. I had tears coming down my cheek because I understood what was going on. I knew that this government was bullshit. 9/11 was my awakening. I mean, we're talking a tin can, aluminum tin can and fiberglass, took down concrete and iron. Are you shitting me? And then we have the captain who put the airplane in the frickin' Potomac because a goose hit it? Come on. Are you shitting me? Okay, so my point being is that I was scrolling through, I read about Agenda 2021, I read about Agenda 25, and I read about Agenda 30. And I knew that this bullshit was coming. And I tried telling people, and they didn't want to hear it. And I lost a ton of people in my life that'll probably come back here soon. But Scott Mckay came across my YouTube videos. And I listened to you. And there was a connection there. And when you unleashed, and that was when Lynn Wood went, you got to listen to this guy. And that was when the eggshell cracked on the Scott Mckay egg, and you weren't born, you were hatched, you were coming out of your egg, so to speak. And ever since then, that's when the Patriot Street Fighter came on. And just like with Mike's story with, you know, Save the Kids, and I can tell you my story. When I learned about the kids, I was all in. There ain't a fucking thing that mattered. There ain't no amount of money. There is no, I was a contractor. And when I learned about the kids and I started digging and then I got into the dark web and oh, I saw Uma and Hillary. I saw that video, Scott.
Did you really?
I cried for 3 months.
I
It hurt my soul.
yeah.
It's
People told me
horrific.
that. Hmm.
Yeah.
I,
And it
I,
was off.
I,
It was off. They took it off, and I mean, but I would pull over on the side of the road and just cry. How could anyone do that? And I don't know if to ever tell anyone or show anyone that, because it's still to this day you can see it's very tough.
I've heard the same people have seen it. I found a way to get to it, but it seemed a little too grainy to really see what others have seen. And I have no problem watching it. People just don't. And like you, I would want to see it because I want that seared in my soul for me to remember every day. If things get tough, matters not one iota, because that changes your vibration and that triggers your warrior gene to go full blown tomahawk, unleashing yourself on this satanic realm. You know, people think that being I don't know, abrasive, a fighter or whatever is unbecoming because you're like, I mean, I built my whole life to be a United States Senator up until I was in my 40s, right? I was distinguished, my language, I could, look the part and then go from there to this. How do you do that? Uh, when you see what you see, you can't unsee it. It's like they're going to kill me or I'm going to kill them or kill their machine or kill whatever. But I'm not living on this planet knowing this shit's going on. And these scumbag thieves, liars, thieves, and killers serving in Congress and state houses around the country and local politics, city, whatever. I, I am not living here. I'm going to deliver my victory for humanity one way or another before I'm dead on this planet. And this is it. It's warfare against these satanic killers. And I'm gonna pull my reins back because you flip the switch on me today, and once I start, it's unleashed, and I can't even rein myself
No,
in.
I hear you, and I wanna kind of transition this, and we know that the government, I mean, Awana has done a great job on teaching us their religion. Their religion is ball. Their religion is the children. Their religion is pedophilia. It's so deep, it's unreal. But we have, and I'm sure Mike will have this up and edited here, and we can get it out before the Super Bowl. And I learned even when the Super Bowl was in Minneapolis at the old Hubert H. Humphrey Dome, which that guy was a piece of crap too. The Super Bowl is one of the highest human trafficking events in the world. And I did a deep dive on it, and the NFL, as far as I'm concerned, should be not for long, because it needs to go. It needs a total gut. The college football, college sports, all of it, it all needs a total gut job. Can you touch on that, Scott? What I just said.
I would love to, and I'm going to say this right now to all of our counterparts who are podcasters, warriors in a great awakening, who are going to watch a Super Bowl. You should be ashamed of yourself. You're not a warrior. You're operating in the matrix. Since that scumbag Kaepernick took a knee and disrespected our bravest people, law enforcement, military, all that, football is done with me. Hockey, baseball, basketball. I don't give a shit about any of you people. You matter nothing in my life. I don't spend Sundays watching football. I spend it going to church on two wheels going down the highway connected to my creator. I don't need to watch these ice holes anymore. There are definitely those that are good in the sport that we would respect. But as a whole, until Roger Goodell is gone, that satanic scumbag is gone, I will never. I haven't watched the Super Bowls since this bullshit started. I won't be watching it. You said Super Bowl today. I'm like, oh shit, yeah, Super Bowl's tomorrow. I don't even know. I don't care because of and anybody who watches a Super Bowl, even the game itself, you're giving them ratings and you call yourself a warrior on this battlefield. Bullshit. I'm calling you out right now. You're all these people that stop watching football because of this bullshit and fantasy football, all that. What did they all do? 95% went right back and plugged their brain into the matrix again, facilitating the largest satanic sexual ritual abuse, murder, gutting, blood draining, cannibalism, going into their skull, ripping their pineal gland out, eating it, eating their heart. That's the shit you guys are supporting watching that Super Bowl. How fucking dare you? We need battlefield soldiers here today, guys. We don't need you guys half in the matrix, half out. Now, there's probably things in my world I can clean up I could probably think of one. I'm not right now that maybe I should unplug from, but I can't think of any right now. I really can't think of anything right now. But the biggest trafficking event on earth, and you're going to watch the fucking game? Well, call yourself a soldier all you want. There's one entity you can't fool. One. Say what you want, but that all-knowing power knows exactly what you are and who you are. Hey, you can be what you want, free will, but don't claim to be otherwise. Sorry, I shouldn't have gone off on that, but somebody needed to hear that.
No, no, no.
Let me sit.
Yeah, Mike, we have heard nothing from Mike.
Yes, Mike, please. I was
By
going
the
to
way,
follow up, Mike.
Mike's very shy, as you can tell.
Yeah.
And this is his first time. He's got his tricycle outside. He just bought that. He's just getting started, right?
It's
Jump in,
got a
Mike.
little Harley Davidson symbol on it, a wannabe, and that's about all it is, No, Scott, you said something very important, and it reminded me of a video that I saw this morning. I think it was from Ty, Jim, but it was from I think it was the 84 Republican convention when George Bush Sr. comes out and he talks about the 1,000 beams of light. And he says it over and over and over again. And everybody's like, yes. And you see these press reports after his speech, and it's like, who wouldn't want to be part of this 1,000 beams of light? And then it goes into, and nobody investigated it. Nobody talked about it. Nobody talked about the 1,000 beams of light, what it meant, how satanic it is, and where it came from, the castle, and I forget the name of the city. It was that what he was. It was talked about, but
it's in the Netherlands. It's in the
Yeah,
Netherlands.
in the Netherlands, and it's truly going into this. I mean, a surgical realm of deeping all the way down. When he says 1,000 points of light, it sounded great, but it goes to the bigger point that I wanted to touch on with you. And I know we go to so many things, but I just think it's the Western religion, the Western denominational, whatever you want to call it. You see what happened at Bethel Church 2 weeks ago. You see things that happened in Kansas City with Mike Bickle, with his church that he did. And it's just a cyclical thing that keeps going on and on and on, where when man takes over anything, and including a religion or a church, it really takes it to a lazy sense of feel-goodism is the best way I could say it, because I know that if I can do a check mark on a Sunday, I feel good about myself, as opposed to juxtaposition to what you just said in your monologue that you gave about the inner spirit within you and what he has done and continues to do in the street fighter that you are and we all are. And I think the church in and of itself has been so suppressed, and it's one of those things that just makes me so mad, because I grew up denomination of Catholic, and to me I went Baptist church, and to me it's just It's just this Letterman jacket club that people wear, and it's very frustrating, and it's very people go their whole lives, in this discipline structure that means nothing. So that's my soapbox. Sorry.
No, I love it. I mean, look, the fact of the matter, that kind of a life, look, I know people that go to church on Sunday and then they're shitheads for the rest of the week. They treat people poorly, they lie, they do whatever. I'm in church and they're judgmental. I'm a churchgoer. No, you're violating the 11th commandment. That's what you're doing. Do you guys know what the 11th commandment is? Thou shalt not kid thyself.
Love that.
And that's what they all do, right? Violate the 11th commandment. I feel closer to God now as Patriot Street Fighter than I ever did sitting in a church. Now am I banging on the church? No. Pastor Bob Joyce is my pastor in Benton, Arkansas. I never passed through there, maybe once, where I'm not in church on Sunday and have lunch, with him and some of the other folks, because I consider that's my church. Why? Because there's this person that I see who's become a friend, and there's a man that I've seen closer to the example of Christ than anybody I've met on planet Earth yet, because his assumed background and who does that, that's kind of important to me. But that's not an institutional church, right? The church is an institution. I said this on church stages all over this nation. The church has failed massively. Religion is the single worst thing that has ever happened to humanity. The single worst thing. Why? Because it's not about our spiritual connection with our Creator. It's not about the Christ consciousness unleashing in its form. It's about structure, like you said. Great word, structure. Putting your dues in, showing up, going through the ritualization bullshit. Again, Patriot Street Fighter wouldn't be necessary if the churches actually did their job. All these pastors who are cowards, who won't talk politics or won't talk politics in their own church, right? Oh, really? Really? I mean, you see the satanic realm has captured the political machine, but don't talk. Really? Why do you hear? What did Christ do? Did Christ do that? You should be ashamed of yourself. I used to go downtown, the First Baptist Church in Dallas, Pastor Jeffrey's down there. Massive mega church, beautiful. Christmas time displays are so impressive to be in this entire structure. And he's coaching people, coaxing them to get the vaccine. I'm like, there's the devil in pure form right there. I haven't been back since. When the Methodist Church in the 90s, 94, I used to give, and I have a lot of money, but I was given a nice check every month to my local United Methodist Church. Pastor that back then is not the same one now, but yeah, and it wasn't even their issue, but the United States Senate and the House voted to end partial birth abortion in this country, which is breech, deliver a baby, keeping the head and skull in the what do you call it? The birth canal, incising them right here, shoving a tube up into the brainstem, sucking the brains out, collapsing the skull, and then delivering a baby with a collapsed skull because the mother's life is in danger. Are you shitting me? You got shoulders and hips through, but a collapse. Come on. Now, the ban on partial birth abortion was passed by the House and the Senate, and here it goes to the president to sign. Clinton vetoed it. The United Methodist Church supported Clinton's decision. I'm like, that was the first crack in their armor of religion with me. I'm like, are you effing kidding me? I have never put a penny in their coffers ever since I'd go to church when I'd be home back in town. So living in the West Coast, I come home visit for Christmas or whatever time. My mother loved to have me and my four sisters all together in church with her. I'd go, that play would come around. I'm like, Mom, I'm not giving them a dime. You want me to put something in? Give me one of your dollars, but you're not getting a penny of mine ever. And they won't. And it wasn't this local church. It's the United Methodist National Organization. Go F yourself. We are disconnected, right? That's how they've captured us. Anyways, I'll flip it back to you, but you nailed it. People think that it's this structured behavior is what Christ would do? Christ would drop his feet on the planet and he would raise these churches to the fucking ground. You are the church. You yourself are the church. That's why Pastor Bob says, stop looking out, stop looking up. The kingdom of heaven is within you. That's what the Bible says. Christ said it. The kingdom of heaven is within you. Pastor Bob says, go inside. He says, go inside. God is inside of you. And when you feel it, it'll shake you up. It'll shake you up. And he turned around and said, he goes, you'll be all shook up. And he turns around and goes, that's where that song came from. It's the greatest thing. Yeah. It's the greatest thing.
Hey, Mike, while we're doing what I want to bring this up, Scott, because I don't think anyone's ever addressed this. But Mike, can you look up the U.S. debt clock real quickly, please? Because I believe, Scott, that Trump called all the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter, all them as terrorists. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What did the NFL do? They all took a knee, right?
All took a knee. Yep.
Do you think for 1 minute that these executive orders 13818, 13848 are coming into play and all the NFL assets are coming back to we the people? And I can show you on the debt clock that these are assets that are being reclaimed through the executive orders. Go down to the bottom. Okay, no. There you go. Right there, right where your clicker is right there, your cursor. If you can open that up, Mike, it shows the assets that
did it
the
say
military
recaptured on there? Did it say recaptured on there?
Yes, recaptured assets.
Whoa.
And then it shows, keep going, Mike. Open it up again. No, right there, right where your cursor is. Open that up. It's recaptured assets, and then it shows the total recaptured assets that's coming. And then per U.S. citizen right now is at $614,000. I've been watching this for months, and Anna knows this. This U.S. debt clock is going to turn into the U.S. ledger. And if you go through this debt clock, Scott, and I'm planning on doing a show, and if you want to do it together, it'd be great. I've got so many notes. I've been going through this debt clock. They show everything, the silver, everything, gold. Where we're going is totally different. This is no longer going to be a U.S. debt clock. It's going to be a U.S. ledger clock. And it also shows every country, every state, and it shows how many cars by manufacturer, how many motorcycles, you name it. This thing has been totally revamped by the White Hats. But if you look right there, it tells you, I guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet that the NFL, Major League Baseball, all these entertainers, their assets are all going to be seized, and it's all coming back to us because they were using those agencies. That's what I call them, they're agencies. And folks, the NFL is not registered as a sports organization. It's registered.
It's a 501c3. It's a nonprofit.
Exactly.
Can you imagine
that? Exactly.
Can you?
It's unbelievable.
They pay Goodell $40 million a year, and that's just cash in his pocket. Forget the hundreds of millions of perks and the jets and all that stuff, but. This is incredible. We got to do a show on this. I want you to walk up my audience through this. This will be pretty. I haven't seen this. I will show you. And you mentioned about silver. We've seen what's happened, and I'm going to share this really quickly. So, did you see if I can share on my screen? If you guys,
yeah, you should be able to. You should be able to. Let me know if you can.
Let's see what happens. Let's see if this works. I mean, look at this. This was on the debt clock.
Yep.
Are we headed for $1,180 an ounce of silver coming
by the end of the year?
So, and there's one other one I grabbed here. In fact, I think because I don't study the debt clock like you do, that's why I'd love to have that education. I know my audience would be too. There were two or I think three of these usdebtclock.org drops that were actually telling us about what's coming. See if I can find these other two. Anyways, continue on. I'll just look a bit for see if I can find them. We'll show them.
No, where I was going with this is that when you look at all these corporations that, force the shot on their employees, the masks, the 6 feet apart, all this bullshit that they did. Just watch that US debt clock on the bottom. I watched it in the last month and a half to 2 months jump over $100,000 per citizen. And it's going to continue to grow because these assets are going to keep going. And then we'll get into it when I put the show. I'm about 70% putting all my notes together, Scott.
Okay.
If you look at the dividend dollar, it tells you the dividend dollar is going to go all the way into the 2030s. Why? Because our dividend dollar, we are all going to be shareholders in all these corporations, all the bullshit that
Wow.
these executive orders all come into play.
Serving
So-
humanity. That's awesome. dude.
Exactly. And here we go. There's a post that I did on X, and I put on there, and it's in the Bible, and that is the wealth of the wicked will go all back to God's righteous, and that's what we're living in right now. We're living in the wealth of the wicked. It's all coming back to the righteous. So we'll
Well, I
put
think
something
with
together.
that too, Jim.
Yeah.
What that's great because I think the biggest thing is that when we talk of being a slave, the slave that we have been indebted to with this debt that we have. I mean that's our paycheck is the only thing that we have to live for every week. I mean that we are so accustomed to that because we've got our mortgage, we've got our car payment, we've got. I mean everything revolves around what the system that they set up. It's perpetual, cycle that I think Jim has just and he's just done a phenomenal job of putting all this stuff together, just in putting it all where it makes sense, where it's like, wow, because we're going to do a show also on the executive orders because it ties in with all the executive orders. All this money isn't just coming from nowhere. It's coming in from seized assets. I mean, seized land, I'm a farmer. I grew up on a farm. So there's so much land out there that's coming back to us that was stolen from us. And our sovereignty is at stake, and that's what it all comes back down to. Is what you were talking about earlier, Scott, about that inner soul, about who you are, is that Christ within you is also the sovereign nature of who we were created to be. Our sovereignty is such a precious gift because so many people have been. Actually, it's one of those things. I think Shawshank Redemption. Remember the guy that said he was so afraid. He'd been in the jail for so long. I don't know if you've seen this movie or not, but at the end, he ends up killing himself because he came out to be in the real world itself, didn't know how to function in it. And I think it's that kind of mentality of that non-sovereign citizen that we've all been enslaved to. That through a debted system what the cabal has put us through. I think that's something that part of our job because it will be a job, all of us collectively, is to educate people on their sovereign being, because we don't need to have a police officer,
Government.
a policy officer that's enforcing something. I'm going to obey the speed limit because I know I have to be safe on this road, whatever that would be. Or we don't need those limits, but we've been trained in this system because it could get all out of hand and people be like, no, I need that structure. I want that structure. That structure is our sovereignty. And it's all about coming back to that. And that ignition of that is what our job is going to be, I feel, in the future.
I love that explanation. Like that is phenomenal. We're going to do another show together. Get that debt clock thing done as fast as you can, Jim, because we're all four going to come back and we're just going to let you guys do the education, and you know, we're going to put that out to the world, because in my opinion, what you're talking about here, Mike, what you're saying as well, is what people need. This is what our audiences around the world need right now. They need that
Yep.
spark of hope. Like, oh my God.
Scott, do you have The Kid by the Side of the Road by Juan?
That's right over there.
Okay. Page 26 and 27 of that book is so important. I mean, Juan is an amazing man, and we are all blessed to have Juan. And if you read page 26 and 27, it's very similar to what Mike's talking about. And that is when the white hats and President Trump and the Kennedys take back our countries, what are we going to do with it then? What is the plan? Are we all going to sit on our haunches and say, oh, well, it's over. It's not. No, we all have to get involved. We have to get involved. Anna and I and Mike did a show on page 26 and 27. We're going to have to teach people how to be sovereign. We're going to have to tell people you have to be a leader, because we were created as leaders. We weren't fucking sheep.
Yep. We're all leaders.
And we have to take the initiative. When you see something that needs to be done, do it. If there's a pop can, beer can, whatever's in the street, and you're riding your bicycle, you know what?
Exactly.
Go back and
pick it up. I do that everywhere I go. I see trash in the street. People see me going into a store, and people walk by this piece of trash. I stop, I pick it up, I throw it in a trash can, continue on my way. This is our planet. This is our planet.
One thing that we've said multiple times. I had the pleasure of working with General Flynn, and he says it all the time, and he just pounds it down every time that we put it out on the video, is that no one's coming to save us. No one. No. There's not one. We're not the white hats and all the stuff. You know, it's to me, it's almost it's its own religion. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a crutch, because just like you had said earlier, Scott, when you were sitting in the hospital bed, your crutch could have been, I'm never getting on that bike again. I am not going to get back on that bike again, because why? I don't want that fear as that ball and chain around my neck. That fear that, no, I'm going to take that fear and I'm going to throw it away, because I'm going to get out and I'm going to do that on my own. I chose to go do something. We have to, General Flynn said it so many times, who's going to save us is us. We are going to go into our communities, and we're going to make sure that, like you said, that the parks are clean. Why? Because they need to be clean. They need to be, yards are mowed. Things are just has to be, because this is our God's creation. Our job is to be that. So that will be our job. Are we going to be paid? Being paid is just also part of that slave system. Being paid is part of the sovereignty. We just have to relearn so many things. And I think that mindset, the work mindset of how we've all just been enslaved to that thing. I work hard. What does that mean? What does work hard mean? You work hard to do what? You work hard to have the company make a profit? I mean, that's just so, it's just in my head. Part of the awakening for me and Jim and Anna has been that communication level where it's just in that moment where you're just like, I do see the current events, and things that are happening in the current environment that we're all living in now, and what's Q say about this and what it's going to. I really think that stuff is kind of, there's a lot of people in that's a crowded room. Not a lot of people are talking about, look, this is what's going to end up happening. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know when the EVS is going to happen and the lights are going to turn on and all that stuff. But when it is, what are you going to do? Yeah. What are you going to do? And I think, like Jim said, what's everybody going to do when that $614,000 is going? People are going to be like, oh, I'm going to go buy all that. It can't be that. We can't go. We'll just destroy ourselves. Every lottery winner you'll be that same person. So it's just a new thinking. Sorry, I didn't mean to go to another rant. You said I was quiet. You woke me up.
Good,
So
thanks.
sorry.
You are perfect, Mike. Yeah, that's what we have always been talking here in the Royal House of We the People, because we have to it's a mission. It's not a job anymore. It's the mission. We have to educate ourselves and educate the people who wants to be educated, and we are learning through the process. There are
Yep.
no teachers anymore, there are no students anymore. It's hands on.
Yep.
But yeah,
You said the
strongly
Royal House of
encourage-
We the People on them. What a great term. The Royal House of We the People. That's awesome.
Oh,
and you know how
yeah.
it came up with I came up like it happened like this. So Trump was in UK with Melania in the purple hat last year, and I was on my treadmill at the gym and listening to him. And I said, "Oh my God, I'm watching. I'm watching the coronation." And no one is paying attention because
Now,
this time is we the people. So let's mock. It's totally on. I'm in a mockery here. I'm not royal. I don't want any. I joke that this is my throne. This is paint. This is not gold, of course. I joke. It's a joke, but it's okay. At some level, it's true.
It is royal.
Okay,
Yeah.
very true.
only
We are royal.
Christ,
Yeah. We're,
only
Yes.
Christ in me is royal,
Mm.
and I have to protect this. So, okay, the Windsors? No, no, no. It's the royal house of we the people, right behind him, right in the Oval Office,
Mm.
back in the womb of the womb of the earth, you know? And I said, "Oh my God, I will use that." And I came home, I designed the logo, and it's much more beautiful. You see, it's like this. I'll send
Mm.
you. I'll send
That's
you.
cool.
It's very Trumpish. Okay, very
Yeah.
Trump,
very Melania.
very Melanish. Yeah,
Yeah.
Awesome.
yeah.
That is
It's
so
the royal
cool.
house of the people.
Yeah.
So
Folks, do you
She is
understand?
very-
Do you understand the messaging that's happening here during this show? We didn't
Yeah.
plan any of this. There's no script.
No,
Um,
no.
obviously, I need a script because I go way off the trail. What these folks are saying is this is epic information. What you're getting here, I'm so excited to be here with you guys. The stuff that I'm getting from you, I'm like, this is freaking awesome. We're going to learn about the whole debt clock, how they're showing us, but we have to want to see it. We have to want to learn. We got to go there. Jim's done the work for us. We're going to get that education. We now realize we're the royal house of we the people. And all the points that Mike just made. These aren't planned. These are divine pipeline driven messages coming through us to you folks. And you know what's going to happen? Inevitably and eventually, a lot of you watching this, because trust me, the army's being built, not with military equipment, but with communications, firepower. And you're going to wake up one day and you're going to say, and I tell people to do this, figure out how YouTube works, whatever, do a Zoom, just get a friend on, start talking about these issues, and then send it to all your friends. Like, well, they want to listen to you, Scott or Mike or On or, Jim or whoever. No, you don't get it. There's people out there that need to come out of their eggshell themselves. They need fed. The little birdie comes out, right? You're not giving a newborn baby cheeseburgers and fries. They're starting with mama's milk. And there are those people going to wake up. They're not going to relate to me. They're not going to relate to anybody here. They're going to relate to you. Why? They're just like you. It's your neighbor. It's somebody who knows you in your realm of life where you are. Because if they see you doing it, they can believe in themselves. And it may not even be people they know, but it goes to a guy over here, like say the guy's a body shop, mechanic, whatever, and he does a podcast. Well, is this, big banker going to listen to it? Maybe not. But my point is, there's a lot of other body shop mechanics out there, and they're going to hear it. They're going to, hey, he's a body shop mechanic like me. Like I come from, Redneckville, USA. You have Sally Sewing Needle and Joe Lunch Bucket. That's where I come from, right? Those people can understand their language. I can speak the language. I come from there. They understand their language and they're believable. You're believable because you are connecting with people in your frequency realm that can't connect with my frequency, right? Or Anna's or Mike's or Jim's. That's why you've got to do this yourself. None of us expected to do this in our lives. None of us. Not one of us right here expected to be doing this right now. I never did. Yet,
Nope.
yet here we are. What?
Not even.
Christ is
not
pulling
even
the
a
soldiers
thought.
onto the field.
Yes.
Well, and the thing of it is, Scott, and everyone who has 107's book, The Kid by the Side of the Road, and if you don't have it, I encourage you to find it and buy it. But on page 26 and 27, Scott,
book.
Thank you. On page 26 and 27, it is so vital because once we take over this world, it's important that we become sovereign and live as kings and queens, not sitting on our thrones doing nothing. We have to put our world back together. We've got so much work ahead of us, but it's going to be glorious.
Yes.
It's going to be glorious. Okay.
Yep.
So it's really time. There's a lot of things going on that's chaotic. I get it. But I'm also going to say this because I want to make this point because, Scott, you guys had the roundtable with Mike Jaco and that. I want to make sure that everyone understands that that is not Minnesotans that you see in Minnesota. And Scott came to St. Cloud, Minnesota. You know that there is some badasses in Minnesota. Okay? Real patriots. So don't judge the book by the media because that's the case in a lot of places. And I will tell you this, I really believe in my heart that the white hats are in control because if you go back to 2020 and you look at what we were talking about before with the Black Lives Matter and the Antifa and with the two shootings that happened in Minneapolis, there would have been so much chaos throughout the whole entire world. And how much do you see?
None.
Not even close to what it was back in 2020.
Yep.
Okay. They didn't burn the freaking cities down. They didn't burn Minneapolis down again. So I believe the reason why it's taken this long is that I believe that there was UPS trucks, there's FedEx trucks that weren't making deliveries, they were making pickups. When Robert David Steele said, we have everything, they have everything. They have every text message, they have every email, they have every phone conversation. And the reason this has taken so long, if you look at all the indictments, never in history has there ever been an operation like this, ever. So it's hard for us because we know what we know and we want to move forward, but we have to clean this shit up so we can go into the golden ages. And I really wanted someone to say that, Scott, when you guys had that roundtable, because I get where you guys are all coming from, but I also know what they did to my Twin Cities, the place I grew up. And then you look at every city that they burned down, where were they? Federal Reserve fucking towns. Every place that they burned them down was where the Federal Reserve buildings were.
Yep. And
the Federal Reserve is being taken out, and people will learn that the Federal Reserve was never our friend. We can go deep into that another time. We're really, we got so much to talk about. It's ridiculous.
We're coming up on 2 hours, Jim. So yeah.
I wanted to say,
I got to
wanted
pee.
to say that about Minnesota because I love Minnesota. Minnesota is a beautiful place. And Scott, I would love to have you to come up there and spend some time in the lake country and get on your Harley and drive around the lakes. You would love it. It's beautiful. And I can introduce you to some unbelievable patriots. They love you. But I just really want everyone to understand that that is not Minnesota. Minneapolis, what's going on in Minneapolis, and that piece of shit governor and those senators and all those They're
Criminals.
all demonic.
Criminal.
They're monsters. They're like monsters.
Criminals.
They're monsters. They don't even have a soul because they've done everything to take and ruin such a beautiful state. And I want to make that clear. So thank you,
My pleasure.
guys.
This
yeah.
has been awesome today for
Yep.
me. I'm glad that I got a chance to hang with you guys because man, my I got octane. I got to jump on my bike here and go meet a guy, and I'm gonna have a hard time keeping it under 115. I'm so fired up.
Well, I appreciate you. I mean, I cherish this. This will never go away. But I just want to say in honor of my stepmom that you've done a great job.
What is her name? What is her name?
Barb.
Barb, we're bringing your picture up now, Barb, because we're sending this show off today with a prayer for you.
Oh, that would be great. Let me
know. So let's bring that picture up. Well, there's some angelic guys. So, folks, we are going to honor this brave warrior, and we're praying for her assistance. So, our Heavenly Father, divine creator, source of all aspects of light, we are truly blessed that you picked us, and we're going to be more blessed when you pick many others, many who are watching the show today, to come to this battlefield. And it is a battlefield to fight for what's right, to fight for the light, and to fight for your people. We are honored that you have given us angelic power from Barbara, this woman today wearing the shirt that means everything to this mission and this operation at Patriot Street Fighter. And Barbara, I'm asking you to keep an eye on Mike and the rest of us as we're conducting this battle. I know you are bringing divine power, certainly weaponry from the ethereal realm against this machine that we're going to destroy here on the planet and return Christ and God's kingdom in its pure original form. Eden is going to rise, and we're asking you and our Creator and Christ from that realm to help us bring more people to this battlefield and help them understand the responsibility it takes to have a successful free republic, one that allows all of us to rise in this angelic form, to ascend into the heavens, whatever you see or understand them to be, so we can deliver our own victories for humanity. And thank you for giving me today, God, this incredible gift of Barbara, knowing that she was a Patriot Street Fighter, getting to see those eyes and that smile. Just know that although I didn't get a chance to meet you, I have an extraordinary amount of love for you because you've given me a great gift today just by me being able to see you wearing my shirt. And thank you for what you have done for this battle. And just know that today you counted in a very big way to the Patriot Street Fighter Nation. So much love to you, Miss Barbara. And thank you, God, for giving us this opportunity to see this wonderful lady here and be able to now consider her son under our viciously protective umbrella against this force that we are dismantling. In God's heavenly name and Christ's heavenly mission, I will say, we salute you.
So let it be.
Thank
you, Scott.
Amen.
My name is James Mckay. I would like to ask the board a question. Are you guys familiar with the Nassar Act? Are you familiar with it? You're not familiar.
Can't say that I am, but we generally don't respond, so go ahead.
Okay. Well, it's important that we do get response because we're not getting any response, and that's why we're all here. The bottom line is this. The United States of America Corporation is dead. Trump killed it 3 years ago. That flag doesn't represent us. That gold fringe around that flag is a signature of the corporation. And the reason that the media is not reporting it, the reason you guys aren't showing up, our sheriff isn't showing up, are you guys part of the corporation or are you part of America? Because everyone here is standing up for our rights. What legacy are you guys going to leave behind for your grandchildren and your kids? And I'm surprised that there ain't thousands of people here tonight. Either we got to do the right thing here, audit these elections, or the military is going to come in and do it. And if they do it, people are going to jail.
stole. Our birthrights that the bankers stole, they engineered each crash. They filled their vaults with the people's gold as they printed paper cash. A casino called the stock exchange, where the gambling begins. An investment tool to tempt the fool, where the dealer always wins. In this corporate world of government, where nothing's what it seems, your pathway set with every step to a grave of broken dreams. Unlearning everything we knew is a painful place to dwell, as a wizard sits controlling you behind his hidden veil. A global world agenda set by the deep and darkest state. Their puppets dancing on a string to divide the world with hate. The American dream and our flag of hope, they never let us be. We will serve each other under God in the land of the brave and free. We all saw our world collapsing.
The next thing that's got to fall are these failed, corrupt institutions. And when God Almighty sits and takes that judgment seat, it's over. So do what you can to improve the terrain until there is freedom.
We are the people, we are sovereign, moving forward through the storm. Don't be afraid and hold the line. In the royal house we stand. Like McKinley, Lincoln, Kennedy, we were told to trust the plan. The grandmasters playing 5D chess, they all know the art of war. Real generals on this battlefield led the Anons through the door. Information is the biggest threat in our search to find the proof. Such patriots we won't forget, who all dared to share the truth. We once stood alone against the beast, but united we will fall. When we go one, we go alone. But when together we go all. Oh yeah. Through the storm.